Harlequin Teen and Harper Audio present Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. Performed by Joy Osmanski, Brian Nishii, and Emily Wu Zeller. Part 1. 1. Beginnings and Endings. It was raining the day Suki came to the Palace of the Sun, and it was raining the night that she died.
"You're the new maid, are you?"
A woman with a narrow, bony face demanded, looking her up and down. Suki shivered, feeling cold rainwater sliding down her back, dripping from her hair to spatter the fine wood floor. The head housekeeper sniffed.
"Well, you're no beauty, that's for sure. But no matter, Lady Satomi's last maid was pretty as a butterfly, with half the wit."
She leaned closer, narrowing her eyes.
"Tell me, girl, they said you were running your father's shop before you came here. Do you have an intelligent head on your shoulders, or is it as full of air as the last girl's?"
Suki chewed her lip and looked at the floor. She had been helping to run her father's shop within the city for the better part of a year. The only child of a celebrated flute maker, she was often responsible for dealing with the customers when her father was at work, too engrossed in his task to eat or talk to anyone until his latest piece was done. Suki could read and do numbers as well as any boy, but being a girl, she was not allowed to inherit her father's business or learn his craft. Mura Akihito was still strong, but he was getting old, his once nimble fingers stiffening with age and hard use. Rather than marry Suki off, her father had used his meager influence to get her a job in the Imperial Palace, so she would be well taken care of when he passed away. Suki missed home, and she desperately wondered if her father was all right without her. But she knew this was what he wanted.
"I don't know, ma'am," she whispered.
Well, we'll see soon enough. But I would think of something better to say to Lady Satomi. Otherwise your stay will be even shorter than your predecessors. Now," she continued, "clean yourself up, then go to the kitchen and fetch Lady Satomi's tea. The cook will tell you where to take it."
A few minutes later, Suki walked down the veranda, carrying a full tea tray and trying to remember the directions she'd been given. The Emperor's Palace of the Sun was a miniature city in itself. The main palace, where the Emperor and his family lived, loomed over everything, but a labyrinth of walls, structures, and fortifications lay between the keep and the inner wall, all designed to protect the Emperor and confuse an invading army. Nobles, courtiers, and samurai paraded to and fro down the walkways, dressed in robes of brilliant color and design, white silk with delicate sakura petals, or a vivid red with golden chrysanthemum blooms. None of the nobles she passed spared her a second glance. Only the most influential families resided this close to the Emperor. The closer you lived to the main keep of the palace, the more important you were. Suki wandered down the maze of verandas, the knots in her stomach growing tighter as she searched in vain for the right quarters. Everything looked the same. Gray-roofed buildings with bamboo and paper walls, and wooden verandas between them so the nobles wouldn't sully their clothes in the dirt and dew. Blue-tiled turrets towered over her in regal splendor, and dozens of different songbirds trilled from the branches of the perfectly groomed trees. But the tightness in Suki's chest and the churning of her insides made it impossible to appreciate any of it. A high, clear note cut through the air, rising above the rooftops, making her freeze in her tracks. It wasn't a bird, though a thrush perched in a nearby bush warbled loudly in reply. It was a sound Suki knew instantly, had memorized each and every note. How many times had she heard it, drifting up from her father's workshop? The sweet, haunting melody of a flute. Mesmerized, she followed the sound, momentarily forgetting her duties, and that her new mistress would almost certainly be very annoyed that her tea was so...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?